All right, listener. So we've got a really interesting question to tackle today.
Yeah, this one's a fun one.
Could Venom, the symbiote, be a good Lord Commander? And honestly, when I first saw this, I was like, whoa, where are we going with this? But the more I think about it, the more I'm like intrigued.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting about that is that it immediately flips the way we think about Venom, right?
Yeah.
We often focus on the symbiote, the power, the aggression, the kind of volatile nature of that alien creature.
Mm.
But leadership, it's not something we usually associate with Venom.
Right. We're used to seeing Venom as like this chaotic force of nature. He bonds with a host, gives them incredible abilities, but also can really kind of mess with their head.
Absolutely.
But Lord Commander, I mean, that suggests, like you said, leadership. It suggests like strategy, responsibility, even. It's not just about being strong or powerful.
Right. And when we think about good leadership,
Mm.
what are the qualities that come to mind? I mean, things like communication, being able to inspire trust, making difficult decisions for the greater good, putting the needs of others before your own. That's not exactly Venom's style, is it?
Not exactly. I mean, it's kind of like comparing, I don't know, like a bull in a china shop to a chess grandmaster. They're both powerful in their own way, but they have totally different approaches.
Right.
But I guess the question is, could there be situations where Venom's unique kind of leadership could actually be an advantage?
Maybe. I mean, one thing that's interesting to think about is that even though it's chaotic, that reliance on a host that Venom has
Hmm.
is actually a form of collaboration. It requires a level of, a shared purpose even, that I think in some ways mirrors real-world leadership.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And speaking of that shared purpose, we've seen Venom protect innocence, sometimes even going against his own instincts, like in specific comic movie when Lenza describes the scene very briefly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That scene really shows a capacity for empathy and putting the needs of others first, which again aren't traditionally villainous traits.
Hmm.
I think it does suggest that there's a potential for leadership there.
Right. But let's not forget the alien side of Venom too, right? I mean, a Lord Commander who can shapeshift, think tactically on a totally different level, and literally devour their enemies. I mean, that brings a whole other set of factors to consider.
Right. It's true. Venom's physiology, that alien nature, could really shake things up. You think about unconventional problem solving, adapting to unpredictable situations. I mean, it really challenges our very definition of what a good leader looks like.
It really does. And I think that brings us back to the original question, listener. When you ask, could Venom be a good Lord Commander? What kind of Lord Commander are you imagining?
Right.
Are you picturing someone focused solely on conquest or someone striving for a greater good?
Because, with all those internal struggles, we've seen those moments of heroism from Venom. So the question becomes, can those glimpses be sustained? Can that desire for control be channeled towards something bigger?
It makes you wonder if that internal battle, symbiote versus host, is actually a reflection of the conflicts that a lot of leaders face. That tension between power and responsibility, between personal desires and the needs of the people they lead.
Exactly. And maybe, just maybe, a being like Venom with all of its complexities and its contradictions can actually teach us something valuable about navigating those very challenges.
So, listener, as you picture Venom sitting in that Lord Commander seat, think about this. What parts of Venom's nature would you lean into if he were leading you? And how would you mitigate those risks? It's a thought experiment. But it actually has some surprisingly relevant applications when we think about leadership in the real world.
Definitely.
Food for thought.
Food for thought.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.